You know what they wanted to do, Ziki? They said these people were their prisoners. Those people that were killed. They were in handcuffs, these people. They wanted to bury them in cuffs.
In a world where Africans have lost their roots, it has become of vital importance to document our ways. In an effort to reverse the brainwashing of the past, where we were made to believe our ways are demonic, we are pressed to create dignified and respectful platforms to unpack our spiritual ways. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs or position of this channel, its hosts, or affiliates. This podcast is a platform for open discussions and exploration of various perspectives, including controversial and unconventional ideas. We encourage viewers to think critically, do their own research, and form their own opinions. The content is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as fact, advice, or an endorsement of any specific viewpoint. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Umoya Ulight, Umoya Upright. Welcome to another episode of MOYA Podcast. Thank you so much for all your support. We definitely see you guys. We are growing. Thank you so much for sharing, for liking, for subscribing. But mostly, thank you for watching all the adverts because, as you know, that is the way that you can financially contribute to this channel without lifting a finger. It's always a privilege for me because I bring you guys teachers and knowledge and your own history, the stuff you're not going to learn at these schools. Today, we are commemorating and remembering the fallen soldiers of Sharpville Day. I know you youth don't really know our history because they'd like to erase it, but we're going to unpack it for you nicely, step by step, so that you understand the impact of these days and what they actually mean to you. Today, I've got GOGO TSOANA. Mama, thank you so much. We're looking forward to today's lesson and thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Ziki. Ngibonge abantu bakaMoya.
So, it is Sharpville Day, and we need to understand why we need to remember it, what happened, the whole history, the whole shebang. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity and for the question. Sharpeville Day came about, or the 21st of March came to be known as Sharpeville Day because of what happened on the 21st of March, 1960. And what happened there was people were massacred, unarmed people, men and women and children, pregnant women, employees, respectable people, abantu who had their homes, who had work, right? And I think it's important that we set that apart because every time there is a massacre, the victims are always labeled as perpetrators, as hooligans, as irresponsible, whereas the irresponsible ones are the ones with the guns. And all of this machinery pointed at unarmed people with children, right? So how the day came about, it was the PAC Pass Law campaign that was scheduled to happen nationwide on the 21st of March. So Mayenzega, Sharpeville also heeded the call. There were activists from the PAC who resided from Sharpeville. Mm-hmm. And in fact, Vaal as a whole, because Everton, they were able to draw in a huge number of about 20,000 people. So that's how PAC was influential in 1959, 1960, right? Because it was almost, 6 months old? Or just over 6 months after it's been formed. So it was a force, right? It really was a force. So the campaign said, okay, because these past laws, bayasibopha ngazo, and they harass us, and they even kill us for them, we are tired. We can't live
What were
like
the
this.
past laws for
So-
the youth?
Yes, for the youth. That's 1960s ID, and I'm just being loose about it. But what Dompas, that's what they call it. Dompas was a booklet that contained everything about you. So they would record your name, address, age, height. If you're missing any tooth, who do you work for? How long are you here? You know, and you have to carry that with you all the time. Because if you don't, to them, there's no way of knowing to ufunanla. And so they regulated the number of people that could exist in the townships or the establishment that they have created for black people. So Idompas was that document. Imagine you're supposed to go to work. You don't control the traveling, the taxis, the whatnot. So if you are 30 minutes late or whatever late and they find you in the street, but you're going somewhere, you know, you get harassed. If you don't get harassed, you get beaten, you get jailed, and you get killed. So that was their tool of controlling the population and the movements of African people who they found here. And once you start doing that with people, they're no longer people, they're tools. They really are tools because there's no sense of being. You upila according to their rules. And their homes that you are staying in the townships, they didn't belong to you either. You know, if you didn't pay, they'll throw your things outside. That's how apartheid was, and that's how restrictive the past laws were. So when the PAC came, I think they say it was amongst many other campaigns.
Yeah.
That, you know, because you had to come at apartheid in all angles if it were to be effective. And remember, this was the generation of 1940 or 44, the ANC Youth League of the time. So they had that thing that, you know, this non-violence or this passive resistance that we're doing Tuli from 1902 until 1960 are not working. It's becoming harder and harder. You know, this appealing to their humanness is not working. You know, they are set on their ways with what they are doing. So, and if somebody disappears in Ziki, because and you have no way of going to report this person or going to find out. Some families are still sitting with people that they don't know which baphelele kuphi. So they chose the PASS campaign as one of their first campaigns as the PAC. And this was a nationwide call. Every black person that responded or where the activists were able to reach, everybody stayed away on the 21st of March, which was a Monday. So Tatu Sobukwe was in Orlando, Soweto, and he was the leader of the movement. Everton, I just said, which they had 20,000 people. Yeah. There's another township, a cluster of township next to Sharpville, Bibadong, Sebokeng, you know. Enye yazo is called Bophelong. Ebophelong, they did not have police stations. So the campaign said, leave your passes at home, and when we get there, we're going to collapse, obviously, the system.
Yeah.
Their police stations are few, there's thousands of us. Let's just collapse the system to show them what it won't work if we come together. So people went to their to the respective police stations without passes, and they protested outside. Ibupilong, I'm bringing it to the picture because Ibupilong did not have a police station inside the township. But the people of Ibupilong marched through Vanderbilt Park, which is a white neighborhood, to the police station in town to go protest there. So you see, if the danger really was these people crossing over or savages that are going to kill white people, Bupilong was a bigger threat because these people in groups and numbers, now they are passing through our neighborhood into, you know. Instead, all the way, it's the white residents who were, you know, in their yards harassing the marchers. Okay. So, with all of that said, Soweto, Everton, Bopilong, then we come to Sharpville. In Sharpeville, I think they say about a crowd of about 6,000 to 8,000. I think 8,000 is stretching it. About 6,000 people gathered outside. But the apartheid government decided to deploy 140 policemen, white policemen, to that police station. They decided to deploy Saracens, army vehicles. They decided to deploy fighter jets or war aircrafts, 15 of them. All of these, and even black policemen, they were deployed in Sharpeville that day. Not in Soweto, not in Everton, not in Bopilong. That excessive arms was deployed at Sharpeville. The people who were there, but in the morning already, the ambulances were already lined up. When have you ever heard this story before? Right? So, why? Why were the ambulances there? And to affirm what this theory is, but after the shooting happened, it took about less than an hour to clear all of those bodies off the ground. So if you came there 2 hours later, you just see shock in people's faces. But you never, lap stains of blood. So when you look at that detail, that intentionality, we have to ask why. And we can't ask such questions when we celebrate Human Rights Day. We can't, because now we are celebrating 31 years of human rights. What we are talking about is 65 years of this bloodshed. So we have to ask these difficult questions. So why Sharpeville? Why this determination to kill our people in mass like that? Why? Saracen left Brixton at 11 a.m. The highest policeman in the land, I don't know whether it was a commissioner or somebody, he was in the police station when the massacre happened. So I think when we look back in Sharpeville, we have to look back at it and then call it what it is. These people calculated this. This was a calculated matter. And once we've decided to call it that, then we can then ask the question, why? Why Sharpeville? Why was it necessary? Why was it planned like this to the T? If danger loomed from everywhere, is those other places that I've talked about with huge numbers, with the leaders, with why Sharpeville? And after those people were shot, after they've been removed,
Do you want to give us the picture, like what happened?
Leading to the massacre?
Yeah, chronologically, so that we see.
Okay. So, in the morning, most people in Sharpeville at the time were workers. So, so the routine in the morning will be to go outside of the township to go, and be of service wherever you work. So both men and women. But at that time, when you were not working, you would be arrested. How nice. Everybody was employed at that time. So anyway, people were supposed to go to work, but there was already this call, as well, or not going to work, wara. And they stopped the activists, then stopped some of the people who were trying to get out. Some managed to go to work, through their ways, but majority of people then stayed at home, and they were called to the police station. When they were going there, most were employees. They were thinking, one of the things that will be addressed would be their working conditions, their work conditions. With, it's going to change, we're going to do this, over and above ipasa. So people congregated because there was an interest in what was going to be said. Is either the employment is going to get better, we're going to get better pay, or these passes will be abolished. So that's how people went there. They didn't think they were going to be killed. That's why they took their children there. They didn't go there to be killed. They did not even when they they could see the police coming in, the Saracens, they were still standing. Because ayenziwa lento leyo. Abantu abadujula unarmed. Had they known, they would have left. They would have left. Nobody went there to, I'm going to give away my life so that there's no. So they were standing. And fence yase police station was this short one, so 6,000 people against that fence, abanye ababoni ukwenzakalani phambili, but there's that, stand there. So to this day, nobody can tell you why they shot at the crowd, because they asked for the leader. So my leaders were PAC, or the chairperson of the movement at the time was Sharpville,
Okay.
He was a 19-year-old. Majority of the people that were killed there are between 19, 16, 21. Very few you'll find over 50, 60. Very few. It was kids by today's standard. But those were responsible people who were working. 19-year-old. That's the man who led the campaign. So they wanted him to utangene phakathi. So ukudlula kwakhe, then, people want to see what's happening, but to this day nobody knows, and I don't think there'll ever be justification enough from their side to say this happened and then we had to shoot. Abanye babo, they falsify information. Somebody shot from the crowd. So we start up his spam. Even if they were there, you wouldn't dare under broad daylight and do that. So they said, no, somebody shot from the crowd. Another version is, no, somebody hit one of the policemen with a stone. You couldn't defuse that. You had to kill people with helicopters, army vehicles, 140 police reserves. You couldn't defuse somebody throwing a stone. Because they're not saying stones, but a stone. So you couldn't defuse that. You had to pull a trigger. So nobody can say what was the reason. And I hope, because they are old now, we can still find one of the policemen, white one, to just say, why? What really happened that day as they're dying, because is their ticket to heaven. Somebody say something. But against the backdrop and all this excessive, there's no justification. It was planned. It was pre-planned. It was pre-planned. So those people were killed. There weren't enough mortuaries to house those people. So they were lying everywhere, in the morgues, in the police station, in the hospitals. They were lying there. They were piled on top of each other.
So it's more than the 69 that was reported?
Way more. Ooh. And this is the problem. Way more. When we were growing up, when we started finding out about this story, the older people of Sharpeville will tell you, no, there's no way it was 69. There is no way. It's a known secret in Sharpeville. No. The old people will tell you flat out, there was no way it was 69. And this has been a belief for as long as I've been alive, right? But that was their word against an official statement. So who was going to believe them? And the sad part is that even when we took power, nobody went back to really say, were they telling the truth? What really happened on that particular day? Nobody went back. We just gave the known victims, 30,000 each, and that was the end of it. The TRC, I think they allowed only 3 people from 213, not the 180 that were injured, 234 that is known right now that were injured. And I'm injured as well, as kulumi, just a bruise, a scratch here. No, we're talking about people who were crippled, couldn't do anything, lived with bullets. That is the 234 people who were injured, not the 180. The ababulewe, those who were killed instantly. At the moment, we are sitting, for sure, I think it's 95. Yeah? But because of the way they were keeping records, we can't say for sure if that is, it's a working number. It remains a working number. Because when you get one information from the archives, you go to that family, like, no, actually, so-and-so is missing. Oh, no, this is not who died here. There's these stories that still remain with the people who were there. The 95 comes from the official documents that they decided to fill in. But the crazy part would be, when they were registering everybody, it went up to that 95 that we're sitting in, and they allowed the official statement to say 69. How does that work? Yeah, what? Kona omunyo ubaba, because some of the people that are based in Vala from Lesotho, Free State, Abesotho, right? So his brother passed away. Is one of the people who passed. So he came to see and identify the body, obviously. Magafika lapha, obviously, I'm born, okay, this is my brother, yes. And they say to him, so what's your name? My name is, what's their surname? Even the surname they spelled wrong. Anyway, he says his surname and his name. And when that person, the way they were so careless, when they're recording the deceased, they wrote his name. So on that 69 that you see, it's a name of a man who was never even on that massacre that very day. So this man, aganagama on that 69. There are 69 graves. If we are sitting at 95, what happened to the other people? Where are they? Where were they buried? And all of those things, including the fact that when they were taking abantu abashonile to the morgues and all of that stuff, they were not properly treated as somebody was deceased, right? Your family was not allowed to perform rituals, your rites of passage. This is when you cross over, this is what we're going to do. That was not allowed. People started to rot. Because if you're not in the freezer for a couple of days, so between the massacre and the day of the burial, those people, the families were not even allowed to identify on the day of the funeral. Abafikanga nokufika ekhaya to say, siyakuletha la, uyadlula la, we take into a final. All of those rituals that are important to us as people, because then they become generational. None of them were done. They put all of these people in identical coffins. Identical. Some white dude donated all of those coffins. Identical. If we have a difference here from 69 to 95 that unaccounted for, those coffins, when they were laid out you were called as Nziki, come stand here. This is your husband. This is your child. This is your mother. This is, ubekwa nje lapha. So there's no way of knowing if whoever is out underneath there is the name that's on the tombstone. Because abavulwanga labantu laba, abadlulanga emakhaya labantu laba, and they all came in identical coffins. So you tell me, Uti, apartheid is that meticulous over our lives to say, we're going to do it proper. We're going to bury them nicely. This one will have... You know what they wanted to do, Ziki? They said these people were their prisoners. Those people that were killed. They were in handcuffs, these people. They wanted to bury them in cuffs. What is that? What evil is that?
That sounds in that nobody was ever held accountable for the Sharpville massacre.
No. There's a whole commission. It's called the Vessels Commission, that excuses the policemen. Nobody was held. Not even the TRC held anybody accountable. What? And so, Tina, when we come into power, we never even allowed ourselves time to go back and look at that story. We were quick to call it Human Rights Day. We were very quick. And, you know, a name is just a name. But if they did justice to that, it will be easy for people of Sharpeville to identify with human rights. But it's not only don't the people of Sharpeville identify with it, the whole nation does not have... These kids don't know. They know it's a holiday. They just wake up, oh, there's another holiday, yeah. And we wonder why this freedom that we have doesn't feel... We can't identify. We don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Every day we are shocked with, man, this was not it. This was not the plan. It's because we've abandoned a mission that people are already on to start something that we don't know, if we've started at all. So, as a people of South Africa, we're like this, like in a loop. Because we don't know where we're going. We don't know. We don't understand this. It doesn't make sense. Everything about it is just haywire, back and forth, human rights, so today. No, it's
Can
confusing.
you unpack that for us, the importance of the naming and Human Rights Day versus Sharpville Day?
It's when you name it something else, we're erasing it. And unfortunately for South Africa, we don't have the right to do that, not only because of the people of Sharpeville, but because the massacre of Sharpeville went internationally. So you can't erase that. Maybe others you can attempt because they were local, you can say this happened. Sharpeville Day, when it happened, it went international. People then started sitting up with it, like, what's happening down there? Nenzani lapho? So how then did we get to a point where we were like, oh, it's okay to call it Human Rights Day? It's a erasure of history because it doesn't suit us. But unfortunately, history is history. You can't do nothing about it. And so it will always feel foreign for these children and the next generation. What is Human Rights Day? What is Youth Day? So there's uniform, so people identify with, oh, it must be school children. Nobody says anything about Sharpeville. So we understand, okay, it was about the Afrikaans, over and above everything, it was about... We also understand there was Umbui, so we understand there was Hector, there was the sister, there's pictures, there's faces, there's names.
No, Sharpeville doesn't have any pictures and names.
No, it just has a number, 69, 180, 21 March. That's it. But it's more than that. It's people's lives who were killed. It's people's stories it's people's families who don't have closure. There is a young lady I met a couple of, I think last year, yes. Umkhulu wakhe was one of the... Now, umntwana uyathwasa, umntwana uvukela idlozi. But hamba uye ethuneni lakamkhulu. When you get to the grave, nothing connects. Like, I don't think my grandfather's in there. Nothing connects. These are the things that we can't talk about, yet they affect us so deeply. So if the name on the thing does not, because spirit always knows. We can argue and say, they were very accurate. No, we know we were there, As I remember we were talking about with some other lady with NPA. Because we need to get to the bottom of what's happening in those graves and those names. And everything needs to be laid out if we are to say we have healed. Otherwise, we're not going anywhere. I couldn't access absolutely nothing if we go in this way.
What would be the solution? To dig up the graves and get the DNAs?
We can do that. We really can do that. And also to see how many people are in those coffins. If only it was one person. Yeah, well, so they say, no, the generations, people have migrated. And let's start somewhere. That somewhere would lead to the next thing. But let's not say now, no, let's leave it because, some some gentleman who works in these high offices and stuff, when we told them about the confirmation of what the old people were saying, because the confirmation came with the professors from America who went and did some research and found the archives in the National Archive. So they've been there. It's not like we had to go and dig something. They've been there. Sharpeville is the only massacre that has so much detailed records. There are medical records of how the bullet entered. There's that per person. Those things. So we don't have to dig for everything is there. We could say, how come they never banned them when apartheid was ending? Only God knows. Because there's rumors which they banned a whole lot of records so that nothing can be traced back. Right? But those ones survived. As is. I saw them with my own eyes. National Archives. I don't know, can we say we've been, we had to ride out the Rainbow Nation wave that you fought, we had to ride it out. Maybe this is the right time to ask these questions. Or should we have asked these questions to start with? But we can't take back the tears. We work with what we have. And what we have is these facts that confirm what the people of Sharpeville have been saying all along. So if we're saying this year is 65th anniversary of the massacre, can we do something different? Can we talk? Can we assign something? Let's find out. Let's humor these people. That's the least we can do.
And I think one of the most prolific things about the massacre is that the people all had gunshot wounds on their back.
Yes. Yeah. So how were they attacking? You know what they did after they shot these people? They collected stones. They urged the black policemen with bafuna manje nearby, and then bawabege, so that they can say
It
these
looks
people,
like
yeah, sticks, whatever. That's what they did. But how do you have stones and then are running away? I guess you had weapons. So why are you running away? They were unarmed, those people. They were family people, they were husbands, they were wives, they were children, they were grandmothers. They were civil people. Sharpeville was a constructed experiment like a social experiment for Amabun. They handpicked the people who were going there. It's a product of forced removals, like House of Ayatan was. Yeah. So they told, not everybody made it to Sharpeville. Others were taken to their homelands because they didn't fit their criteria of who they needed for their labor. So it was decent people, or rather in their eyes, who they deemed decent. Yeah, because
Bekuyithi so.
yeah, the strong, clever blacks. Yeah, totally. Lokuthi amaqaba. No, these are the people who were working on that industry. These are the people who were working ArcelorMittal. These are the people who were working Eskom because the power station was that side. These are the people who were working in mines to dig up coal. These were people who were working. The women worked in the offices. Some worked in the as maids, of course, but in their houses. How did they become hooligans all of a sudden? You know. So the people of Sharpeville deserve the truth. 65 years, they deserve the truth. And being umuntu womoya, umntwana womoya, it doesn't feel like, and mangithi feel, I think it will, ayilalanga kahle le mimoya. Not here, not in Sharpeville, not in Soweto, not. People can't die like that in numbers, and we just continue. And the evidence you're getting, something needs to be done. I'm from Sharpeville, born and raised. My brother was killed by a gun. Izolo, last night somebody was shot. Since this year started, I think there have been about 4 or 5 people, young men, who were just shot for whatever reason. But Isbamo doesn't seem to have been silenced at Sharpeville. We kill each other with it every single day. And 2 years ago, it was my cousin, they shot him 6 times. 3 years ago, it was another cousin, they shot him 9 times. Young, strong men. So we can say we can move on, but if we are trapped in Sharpeville, that's going to be your fate. You know?
A generational curse.
We have to. And we cannot now say, Tina Sizwenza like Gitik Pela, my brother only. This is the whole township. And it has to be promising young men, not thugs. Yeah, thugs here and there, but these are gonna carry us. There's gonna be, there's a future, there's a bright future in this young man. Oh no. No, so something is not right. And it all started with that massacre. If anything, can the people of Sharpeville be granted that? Because even though we were not there, we're still seeing and affected by it to this very day. It's igazi aliqedi ukopha, and not nje. It's very violent. It's very violent. As if it's not that, it's knives. Sharpeville is very small for this. Very small.
What is the responsibility of the youth? Why are you telling us the story? Why should it matter to us?
This story should matter to the youth so that they understand that a high price was paid for them to be here. The very highest price was paid for them to exist. And while they are caught up in this rainbow and this euphoria, they shouldn't find themselves wanting or being in a position to want to renegotiate their existence once more. A high price was paid for them. So we must worry when we have this high rate of unemployment. This is not supposed to happen. We have paid in blood for this. They shouldn't make us feel, no. It has to be redressed. So that, because otherwise, abantwana bethu will live thinking ukuthi townships are normal. Townships are not normal. And that's why we have to call out the current government for doing these small houses. What is that? Who's supposed to live like that? No. It's ubuhlungu indaba South Africa, man. It's ubuhlungu because you can see the difference. There's just a line in between. And we think our security is going to keep us safe. Never. If we think we're in trouble now, trouble is still coming if we don't change our ways. Iyalwa le mimoya le ntsiki. It has to, lapho laba khona, that death must feel just. It cannot seem worse off. Ukuthi, I died, but look at my children, at my descendants, at my great-grandchildren. Look, it's worse now. Abadli, akunane. Earlier on I said when people did not work, they get arrested. Don't we wish ukuthi there will be such an abundance yemsebenzi ukuthi bebehlangana nawo loitara ukuthi why are you going to jail? Because why are you in the streets? Seba well. Bashila abantu ku social media, you know? So the youth needs to question. The youth needs to understand that where we are is not normal. Where we are is not what we wanted. Where we are, it's not where we should be forever. So they have to go and find the mandate of the young people of the time, the Nyakanit Solos, the 19-year-olds, the 20-year-olds that championed that march. Okay, you had a vision. Where were we going? Because manje, as we were just sitting in one space. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. We're going to end up wanting to fight again. No, we can't be fighting again. We cannot be fighting again. So when Ziweloko, blood was spilled, we don't like it, but we accept it for what it is. But then the results of our lives must reflect the loss that we've encountered for this country. And nobody seems to be talking about that. It's almost like we must pack up and just move forward. Where is forward? If we don't know where backwards was, what it was, where is forward? Siapi.
What are some of the programs that you're running to commemorate
The 65th anniversary? We have outlined our programs to be a year long, so that 65 years Kalamanje until next year. I'll mention just a few. I think the Legacy Project, which is what it's close to my heart. There are others, there are events, right? But I like the Legacy Project because they're long lasting. What the discovery, so by the way, the professors that came and did the research wrote a book. So everything that they found is in a book somewhere. Thank God. So when they decide to burn it, we have record somewhere. Anyway, and for the first time we have all the names.
Oh wow!
Right, the ages, the addresses. So we're able to identify what to Uban Begagopi. So one of the legacy projects that we want to do is something like the houses that were people used to live. Obviously, others have left. It's no longer the same occupants, but that house remains a heritage site.
Yeah.
So something about that house needs to be, known. And when you walk around Sharpville, you are able to pierce the story together. The second one is it's a time capsule. A time capsule, it's both spiritual and physical, like a physical. Spiritual in a sense, with these people's dreams were cut short. We don't know what they wanted. We never got a chance to experience their existence, right? And so bashona now, whatever. So when we create a time capsule, we want to create it's a container that is airtight, airproof, waterproof, whatever. We are gubela pansi. And then we donate things. It could be a poem, it could be a book, it could be a wish, it could be, anything that you feel like doing. And because Sharpeville was affected people across the world, we open for everybody. Which firstly, what do you think these people would have wanted? So you pick a name. On this person's name, I think I want Sharpeville to look like this. I want the world to look like this. I want, so it's that container where you just put everything in it, and then you seal it for anything between 5 to however many years. So when the idea is to, when 70th anniversary come, we're able to open it 5 years later and look back at what did we want, what did we achieve, what were the aspirations. And this is mainly for the youth. If you feel like how you want it, be wild. Let's manifest some of the wishes that we feel that these people, because if somebody said if one of those people would wake up and walk around Sharpeville, they will never get lost because nothing has changed. It's the same. And it's a shame. It still looks like the way it looked. Why? Why did these people die? Why was this so important to do? And so while we looking for answers from them, nathi kumele sibaphilise ngandlela thize ukuthi moya yabo ikhululeke.
You also said you do a night vigil?
Yes, we do a night vigil on the, and it's amazing how spirit works. So over the years we've been doing commemorations in terms of lectures and what everybody's doing, until we decided, no, you know what, we are the children of Sharpeville. We can't be now on the 21st of March celebrating or doing, sishonelwe. Yo sishonelwe. 100 people, almost 100 people were killed instantly. We cannot find ourselves drinking and partying. It doesn't make sense. So because the road of the 21st is so deep, like you can't walk, as the people of Sharpeville, and just let people be, because it's not our space. It's like a theater stage, and everybody picks a corner to perform, right? Tina, we retreat into our homes. And so that has been the culture since the dawn of democracy. It's getting worse. People are drawn into Sharpeville. It's crazy. You can't even drive down the streets. But if you grab one of them, young and old, which is the sad part, would actually, what's up? Why are you here? They'll tell you, we were bussed in, no, Gumnandi, my friends are here. On the 21st, you could have picked any other day to go and do that, because it has that Polish Sharpeville. Throughout the year, there's people coming. Pick any other day. As an African child, pick any other day. Ungayi ngokuthi government said they are lost labo. They're very lost, So we then decided, okay, the main element that's unsettled la MOYA wabantu. So let's do something that addresses that, or that caters to the spirit. And when we're doing this research, actually what was happening, we learned that on the 20th of March, a bunch of women came together to pray. And it was necessary because some of them felt with something years, we don't know, because they didn't believe that they would do that, but there was that uneasiness, and they gathered together and had an overnight prayer. And so that was a way of spiritually cushioning what was coming. So when we decided to do the night vigil, this year is going to be the 4th anniversary since we've started doing that. When we started doing or commemorating like that on the 20th, to say, Tina, we're not going to participate in anything on the 21st. If you're here for performance, do that. It's fine. And hopefully you would learn something, and maybe next year don't come back the same way, but we're not participating at all. So we do a night vigil at the site of the massacre. Overnight, all denominations, abangoma, abaprofeti, amapostola. If you have a prayer in you, if you have sympathy for these people, if you have something, draws you to this, you are more than welcome. And then we sit there, we sing, we pray. when we're lucky, we get people who are alive then. I wanted to take Iso to tell us in their own way. So we're giving Sharpeville an opportunity to tell its story while it was still alive before she was killed. All right. So the 20th of March becomes that night vigil where we talk about, we gather in prayer and in song. And then at 4 a.m., we take a walk to the dam. We call that walk a blood walk. And the reason why we call it that is that after the massacre happened, a cloud out of nowhere formed. And Imvulayana. Now, where this massacre happened is a bit high up. It's like a hill in Sharpville. And Imvulayana, it washed down the water. And at the very bottom is the dam. As a Sharpeville. So we grew up believing or being told rest at the bottom of that dam. So in the morning of the 21st, we then take flowers, a bunch of flowers each. Very calm, very, remembering these people. Sambe, that blood walk until the dam, and then we offer those flowers to the water. And when we come back, we're done for the day. And ever since we've done that, this is what I think I want to emphasize on this platform so that people can start trusting and believing in prayer. You're not being a bari. There's a reason why African people resonate with spirituality. I'm sorry. There is a way that this thing, we customize it because there's something that spirit touches when we pray, when we sing, when we, so ever since we started doing that, I mean, we've been commemorating. I started after matric, which was, I think I was 17 at the time. But it was only after we started doing the night vigil that all of these truths were starting to be confirmed. That the professors from, one of them from UCLA, the other one's from Louisiana University, they came doing their own research for whatever in South Africa. They have a keen interest. And that research led them to Sharpeville, and they started meeting these people. And these people were like, you know what, tell our story. That's when they went back and saw the archives. For the very first time, they were the first people to ask for them, Lapayan. So these are the changes that started to happen, there are many things that we really are changing. Our government, they have their own programs. They, and those are the programs that don't resonate with people. And so they will look where they seem interest, and then, But what we are happy about is at this time, if now you want to commemorate the 20th now, you want to do a prayer on the 20th, then we're heading somewhere. Because they are the ones that bring the big budget to do the booze and the dancing and all of these things. So if for the first time this year, part of their program say we are praying on the 20th, honestly, we are somewhere.
Thank you so much for coming to share with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ish, guys, yeah, so the Sharpville massacre, remember where we come from, guys. On the 21st, please also light your candle. It's not a time to party, guys. We are grieving. So thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing and watching all the adverts, and we'll see you again next time.
Who are you when all you were has been diluted by lies and white lines cancelling out all that which has been written of your history? Why do you look at yourself as a mystery? Doesn't the sun shine because you open your eyes? Doesn't the moon stay situated within the same stars your DNA sparkles off? Your spirit knows that surely corner into e off. Buza umoya so you may return to being well off. Because spiritually you are rich, yet your ancestors cry because you are out of reach. But yours is to command all elements while God takes inspiration from the very mirror she looked at to become. Remember who you are and never finish just when they think that with you they are done.